While leading their flock through the pastures of the French Alps, two young shepherds had an encounter that would leave a mark on the history of the church. It was September 19th, 1846. That lady said things that, at the time, very few people took seriously. Things that seemed exaggerated, almost unbelievable for the Catholic world of the time. Today, almost 2 centuries later, those words have a different effect, because they describe, with chilling precision, exactly what we are seeing. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this apparition, approved by the Church, isn't a relic of the past. It's a mirror of the present. And I'll tell you how to read it without making mistakes. Let's start with the facts, because here, the facts matter. The two visionaries were Maximine Giraud, 11 years old, and Melanie Calvat, 15. Extremely poor, almost illiterate, they were cowherds. They didn't know the catechism, they barely knew how to recite prayers. Yet that day, they reported an encounter that would span the centuries. The lady, who they later realized was the Madonna, appeared luminous but in tears. And this is the first detail to keep in mind. She wasn't smiling. She was crying. Her public message was a heartfelt lament. She said her son's arm was now so heavy that she could no longer hold him. She complained about how the Lord's Day was being desecrated, how God's name was blasphemed everywhere, how now only a few elderly women still went to Mass. Pause on this image. 1846, an era we now imagine to be extremely religious. Yet the Madonna was already weeping because the churches were emptying. 5 years later, after a rigorous investigation, the Bishop of Grenoble, Philibert de Bruyas, officially recognized the authenticity of the apparition. It was September 19th, 1851. We're not talking about a popular legend or a dubious vision. We're talking about a Marian apparition approved by the Church with a bishop's decree. But there's more, and it's the most controversial part. The two children also received a secret from the Madonna, which was sent to Pope Pius IX in 1851. Years later, in 1879, Melanie published her own version of that secret in Lecce with the approval of the local bishop. And here, caution is needed, a great deal of caution, because that text contains very harsh statements about a crisis of faith that would have affected even the Church's leaders. Statements that the Church itself has, over time, urged people to handle with extreme caution. Let's say it clearly, once and for all. Those sentences should not be interpreted as some do, to deny the Pope or proclaim an empty see. The Pope is the Pope, and sedevacantism is a dead end. The right key is another. It's not the hunt for conspiracy, but the call to penance. Our Lady of La Salette didn't come to frighten us. She came to implore us to convert. So let's leave aside the most contested versions and stick to what the Church has approved, because that alone is enough to make us tremble today. Because look at what's happening right now. Not in 1846, now, in our time. The Madonna wept because the sacred was treated lightly. Well, a few days ago, in the Italian Alps, a bishop celebrated a Mass with the hosts placed in a plastic box and a wooden chalice. 300 people stretched out on mats, the Blessed Sacrament in a kitchen container. Not an isolated incident, one of many now, where reverence seems to have evaporated. Our Lady lamented that almost no one truly believed anymore. Well, repeated surveys in many countries show that a large portion of Catholics no longer believe in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. The very heart of the faith, the truth for which the martyrs died, is today forgotten by those who still call themselves Catholic. Precisely the void that tearful lady had foreseen. Our Lady had wept for her priests, calling them to be faithful. Yet the scandals rocking the clergy, the dragging trials, the unhealed wounds fill the news. And it's not just the liturgy. Our Lady lamented a world that confused good with evil. And today, the Vatican's official portal itself has gone so far as to describe as normal a practice that doctrine defines as illicit, artificial insemination. The confusion that was predicted at La Salette has even crept into the language of those who should guard the truth. Words are changing, and with them, slowly, is what the faithful believe. Point by point, the lament of that mountain in 1846 seems written for our present. It's not a coincidence, it's a consequence. And this is where we understand the true meaning of a Marian prophecy. It's not magic, it's not predicting the future, it's seeing in advance where God's abandonment will lead. Our Lady didn't need a crystal ball. It was enough for her to see the direction. Where a people stops worshipping, praying, and respecting the sacred, there comes the desert. And the tradition of the Church has always said exactly this: that causes produce effects, that removing God from the center does not leave a neutral void, but opens the door to disorder. At La Salette, Our Lady said it with a mother's simplicity: "If you continue like this, my son's arm will fall, not as a threat, but as a diagnosis." And today, looking at the half-empty churches in so much of the West, the sloppy liturgies, the evaporated faith, how can we not recognize that that diagnosis was accurate? But be careful, because here, the video could end in despair. And yet, La Salette isn't a message of despair. It's exactly the opposite. Because Our Lady, after her tears, also made a promise. She told the two children to spread her message to all her people, which means only one thing: there is still time. A prophecy of punishment that can still be avoided isn't a condemnation. It's an alarm sounded out of love to wake us up while there's still time. And there are signs of an awakening indeed. Just recently, a large survey of over 11,000 young Catholics revealed something surprising. Those young people aren't asking for a more watered-down, more worldly, more political church. They're asking for the opposite: more solid doctrine, holiness, and a liturgy celebrated well, with reverence. It's as if, where their fathers removed the sacred, their children are groping for it. The thirst for God, removed from one generation, resurfaces in the next. And this says something profound about how providence works. Our Lady of La Salette didn't promise that evil would triumph, but that those who convert will never be abandoned. This is the true heart of La Salette, not the fatalism of those who say all is lost, but the hope of those who know that the Mother never abandons her children. The prophecy of La Salette is coming true before our eyes, yes, but not to condemn us, to call us to return. The answer isn't fear, nor is it even indignation. It's what Our Lady asked for from the very first moment: prayer, penance, a return to Mass, reverence for holy things. Because a lady weeping on a mountain isn't crying to scare her children. She cries because she loves them and wants to bring them home before nightfall. And the house is still open. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.